What's the deal? What's the deal? Politikan the Podcast. We back again. Gonna get it in, man. Talk about a few few topics, man. It's just me and the mayor right now, man. Gonna get it in. The famous homie was trying to join, but he's having technical difficulties. So we finna get it in. Chop it up. What's the deal, fool?
Man,
Oh,
nothing.
we got y'all in here too. What's the deal, y'all? You looking halfway buff, sir?
Hey,
Oh man.
hey, did you see his glitch? Did you see his glitch? We saluted at the same time. That was dope.
Hey, I don't think at this age you're allowed to wear muscle man shirts.
Oh man. I got to. I gotta look myself. I gotta look myself in the video and be like, "Dang man, you need to get bigger. You don't look too strong on the camera."
Oh
All
man.
right. So how y'all feel about this NBA playoffs and now this NBA finals? I mean, we all had a feeling that Golden State was gonna be here, but the Celtics, and then they shocked everybody by taking game one. Like, how do y'all feel about this NBA finals? And if the Warriors do win, then what would that do for their legacy? Like, what would you rank them as, like a top dynasties?
You want to go first, y'all? You want me to go?
I'll go first on this. So when it comes to the Warriors, I mean, in I guess it's for the Boston Celtics and the Warriors. As far as greatness, like I said on the last show, I'm going to keep harping on it. As far as greatness is all debatable because you can measure greatness. People measure it differently. Now, if you're going greatness based upon how many championships you got, technically speaking, Boston Celtics is the greatest team of all times. I'm sorry, Lakers. I'm sorry. Can't give it to you because Boston has what, 17? They have a better winning percentage when it comes to their championships. And if they win this one, then it'd be what, 18? 18 championships. And their closing ratio is a lot better than what the Lakers is. So I know the debate can be, well, at least we got there, y'all. At least we got there. Well, what's the point of getting there if you're going to lose? If every time you're going to lose, Lakers winning percentage when it comes to the NBA finals is like not, it's barely above 50%. Now, if you want to go greatest of all times, Chicago Bulls is the only team that is undefeated, that won it 6 times. Every time that goes to the finals, we win it. So that's one thing. I mean, unless you go the next team, the Sacramento Kings or something like that, when are those teams that won one. But Chicago Bulls is the only team that is undefeated every time they go to the finals. Now going to the Warriors though. Warriors are tied with my Bulls and everything of that nature, and their winning percentage when they go to the finals is one of the best. But at the end of the day, the greatest team goes down to the Boston Celtics, and that's hard to argue about that unless you're arguing, hey, at least we went to the championship such and such times.
Well, I guess that's segue for me to jump on then since I'm that other side that's went in there and got the 17. So it's cool. Um, I feel where y'all's coming from as far as like the percentage wise. If you go off percentage, there's no way you can say anyone's better than Chicago Bulls, just like you can say, debatable with and everybody that Jordan's the best to ever do it. But when it comes to this NBA Finals, I had the anticipation of like a 6 game, 7 game series. And I saw Boston pulling it out, not because Golden State Warriors aren't a juggernaut or a dynasty team. I just thought that Jason Tatum kind of showed that he had like that mama mentality. He was killing all playoffs. And I really liked how they had to go through so many different teams just to get to the finals. Golden State, once they made it to the playoffs, everybody already wrote them off like, oh yeah, definitely, they're going straight to the finals. So Boston's road was really difficult. I like them as an underdog, even though they have 17 titles, and I can't necessarily say that I like Boston as an LA Laker fan, but it is what it is. I'll take that for today. And honestly, if the Warriors win, they're gonna just sweep them after this. Like that first game is gonna be like a gentleman's sweep, like when Iverson and Philly made it to play against the. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. When Iverson and Philly made it to play against the Lakers, and he won that first game, he stepped over Tyronn Lue. Everybody hooped and hollered, but then they won the next 4 games. They call that a gentleman's sweep. So if something doesn't happen drastically in Game 3, we might see that. And that then will definitely make Golden State, at least the team with Steph Curry, in the conversation as a dynasty. Because I think when you look at what they've done collectively together, just while they've been together, not while, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there years ago, or Rick Barry or TMC or any of that stuff. I'm saying just within Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's time, I think you would have to give them the new age San Antonio Spurs type of dynasty respect.
That's facts. That's facts right there. I mean,
go ahead, Cam. What's the deal? Cam Chronicles.
No.
Thank you, y'all. I appreciate you.
Sorry, I hopped on late. But yeah, man. I mean, for once in the podcast history, I'm not gonna refute anything that Alvin said. You know what I'm saying? As far as him being the most recent dynasty, and given the fact on every championship run, probably not the most recent one, but the ones in the past, they had the top 5 players in the NBA at the time who were, competing for championships too. So definitely most recent dynasty. If they win this year, yeah, man, I think you have to put them up there. I mean, like Gaji said with the Bulls. I mean, even though they would have one more than the Bulls would have, but still in the same conversation of one of the greatest considered dynasties of all time, for sure.
The Warriors, man, people don't want to say it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to give these boys a props. But winning the title this year would definitely make them one of the best teams of all times. Obviously, historically, if you want to go by which team has more titles, the Celtics have 17, the Lakers have 17, the Bulls have 6, the Spurs have 5, and who's next? It's the Warriors. So if all those teams are considered dynasties, which the Spurs won their championships over a 16-year period from 99 to what the last one was 2013, I want to say, or 14, one of those years. The Warriors definitely will catapult themselves into one of the best dynasties of all time. And probably, since the Laker dynasty, the three-peat, the dynasty, the only dynasty since then, there hasn't been a dynasty. No other team has been able to have this type of success. 6 finals trips, 4 victories if they win this year in a short period of time, and they're still growing. You definitely got to call the Warriors one of the greatest teams of all time and put them up there next to the greats, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls. The Warriors are right there for sure. They got the same core, Draymond, Steph, Clay, and they got the same coach. Yeah, this is definitely a dynasty. Definitely a dynasty. And since everybody, it seems like we only want to count finals trips when we're talking about who. Everybody wants to count finals trips when we're talking about him. But if we're going to use that, that's an accomplishment for him. It's definitely finals trips has got to be an accomplishment for the Warriors. The Warriors are in the finals every other year. Think about this. The Warriors have been in the finals each and every time they've been fully healthy. The only time they haven't been in the finals, their stars have been missing. It's been Clay. It's been Steph. The Warriors have been in the finals every year they've been healthy. So they're definitely a dynasty right now, win or lose.
Put some respect on the Warriors' name. Hey, Caleb, I got a question, though.
What's good?
I think you can answer this one for me though. Since we're talking about the greatest teams of all times, where's the Clippers?
You see, but for y'all worried about the past, and I'm focused on the future. Like like the mayor say all the time. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? You always worry about what you
I
used
love
to
it.
have. You know what I'm saying? Instead of keeping your eye on the prize.
Well,
You
time
know what
out,
I'm
time
saying?
out. My
So
my
I'm
my
more
my team
I'm
made the
more
playoffs this year.
out with the old and in with the new, man. You gotta move on.
Hey,
But
Caleb. Hey, Caleb.
let me
Who?
tap in on it. Let me tap in on this Warriors, man. As far as the Warriors go, I feel like they're not one of the greatest dynasties yet. I think that they would definitely need this championship, maybe one more to really just get in really in the conversation. But as far as just looking at them overall, like Steph, he's going down. He's going to be a top 10 player when it's all said and done. Klay Thompson is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when this is all done. Draymond Green, he might actually be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's a first ballot, but Draymond Green, nobody expected this type of impact and this type of career out of Draymond Green. So just off of like this is a homegrown team, and the fact that the team drafted all three of those individuals, what I'm saying, also makes their front office a dynasty. And that a lot of those Lakers teams is put together by the non-Hall of Fame GMs. Anybody can buy a team, but to put it together the way they put it together, I think kind of sets them apart from some of these teams.
You
Hey,
said
who was
they're
the
not
player?
dynasty.
Mark Jackson.
Who
Sorry.
was the player that Ronnie? Who was the player that you were referring to, and you don't want to say their name?
I think you know the answer to that.
John Jackson.
All right, but look,
Wait.
speaking of but Draymond, you know what I'm saying? Draymond Green got his own podcast, the Draymond Green Show, and he was on the episode. He was speaking about how players doing this type of content is the real form of media because they have more insight and more knowledge than a journalist can ever have, and that they are the new media. We just got a tweet from LeBron James saying, I'm about to pop up on somebody's podcast, maybe even my own. So, how do you feel about players jumping into the media like circuit and calling themselves like the new media? Like, how do you guys feel about that shit? Come on,
I
Ken.
want to go
Hold on,
first.
hold on. I
Oh,
want
go
to hear
ahead,
from
Ken.
Ken
Okay,
first.
because Ken laughed.
'Cause
That's true.
this is crazy.
I mean, Caleb, we have this conversation all the time off record, right? Can you truly call yourself a complete journalist if you don't write?
No.
So the basketball players who create podcasts, they're speaking from a player's perspective. So you always have to respect that, right? I mean, they have insight, but then at the same token, the journalists, they're not in the games, right? So as journalists, when we look at basketball games, like we're assessing them. The players can assess the basketball games while they're playing them. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a clear cut distinction between what Draymond Green is doing and what true journalists do to the game of any sport.
Yeah.
I want to play an advocate.
Go ahead.
So if a journalist, if you don't write that whole scenario, right? So doesn't that make the question be, can we really speak on the NBA if you don't play in the NBA?
Well, where does journalism come from? Of course. Yeah, journalism has
So
to come from
if
somewhere.
if you're going with the perspective of, well, you don't write, so therefore you can never be a journalist.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Shouldn't it go, you don't play in the NBA, so how really could you give an inside perspective of what's going on in the NBA? Where they
I
can
didn't say
technically,
that, though.
yes, they can assess the game playing the game, but after the game, they can assess the game.
I'm lost.
I don't know. I guess what he's trying to say is like the fact that you saying that Draymond Green, because he doesn't write, he can't be a journalist, but
A
because you
complete
can't
journalist.
hoop, well, because you can't hoop, you can't commentate on basketball. I don't think that equates with one and the same. Journalism exists so that there is a accurate or as accurate as possible account of events that happen and occur for a historical reason. This is why everything done journalistically has to be vetted and has to be non-biased. So the fact that you're a player playing for the Golden State Warriors makes everything you speak biased in a sense of it has to be because of the point of view that you're speaking out of. So you can't be a player and be a journalist because it's against the code of ethics. It's the yin and the yang. You can't do both.
Pat
So
The
Bev
for you to
doesn't
jump
personalities.
in,
bias.
and say, "Oh well, we don't have to do what you do. We're the new media." It's like because of what's hot right now and what's being streamed doesn't make it historical. What journalism does lasts forever. What you doing is just hot right now. You soldier boy. You came with the new, what I'm saying, dance. Niggas but historically, 10 years from now, where is that going to leave you? Are people going to be talking about the Draymond Green show?
No,
Is
no, he's a
ESPN
personality.
is ESPN going to buy the Draymond Green show? No, you're going to get a sponsorship. You're going to get a check, a temporary check. You're not going to get that long bag. Eventually, when it circles back, you either have to become and participate in real journalism, or you can just be quote unquote part of the media because it's the hot thing to do.
So is Richard Jefferson a journalist?
No,
No.
he's a reporter.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a difference. So I was gonna
Yeah.
say that I think that we're jumping, or not we're jumping around, but we're getting away from like the Skip Bayless and the Stephen A. Smiths and the
True journalist. True.
like
Yeah,
we
classic,
over
Hall of Fame.
time, like over time we love the insight of how other people saw the game and how they perceived it from that that fan's perspective, right? Like, wow, to see how Jordan played against, Utah, the push off, like journalists and reporters saw him play the game a different way and didn't see it as a foul. Players saw it as a foul. That creates debate. I think what Draymond saying that it's the new media, I think he's more pushing that whole agenda like a lot of us don't like to really push as far as that. Oh yeah, we're getting away from the old times. Everything's going to be just streamlined social media only. Like there's going to be no real weight to any of the things that are being said because since everyone has lips and everyone has the right to talk, everyone will just say whatever. And then why have a journalist who's went to school to make sure that they can articulate their words and have something that's that lasts, like you said, a lifetime, like something that's actually worth reading compared to just listening, you know.
Okay,
And then wait one more
oh,
thing, Ken,
hold on. I
and
want to
then
comment on that.
oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to comment on that
I
because
like what you said, Alvin. I like what you said, Alvin, about that reading part. I like
I,
what you said.
I,
Because
because
I know how the articles work, where you actually have to get things published. So I know that
uh,
it's a lot more to
well,
it than
okay,
just.
so when speaking from a journalistic standpoint, you're very selective with your words because words can have multiple meanings depending on the way you use them.
And the backlash,
So
right?
let's pay attention to the offensive part of what he is
Well,
saying.
that's
He's
look.
saying
So that's what I
that
was gonna
they
go with
are.
it,
Let me
Caleb.
finish,
Because
because
go
he's
ahead,
saying they are the new media, meaning that they're replacing the old media, which is journalism.
Well, you know where he's going with
That
that, though,
right
right?
there is
No,
like
no, no. I
what
don't
you're
think I.
doing is what you're doing, and that's
I don't think
fine.
he. I know he's
But you're
talking good
not.
stuff about
But
journal.
what you're doing is not going to replace the
No,
system that is already in place. You are not the
smart
new
enough.
media.
Look,
Well,
I think he's smart enough to know that what he's saying isn't going to hold weight just because he has lips. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we're the new media. But I think he's looking at the fact, like, if it's the five of us, right? Whenever he's speaking, it's him, Kendrick Perkins, say a Richard Jefferson. You look at the other side, Jay Will. You're getting more athletes who are, or Vince Carter. You're getting more athletes who are speaking up and like having that reporter role. Like, and remember what you said. You said reporter when y'all asked about Richard Jefferson, right? But most people don't ask that question because they automatically assume that they're a journalist now because they're in a tie. Because when you retire from a sport, you assume you're being hired on to give your feedback and give your insight on the game that then puts you in the same category or puts you on a show where I'm not a journalist, but you are. And people are listening to us both. So as long as I stay in my lane, I don't have to worry about anything else. But he's basically saying, the hell with the lanes in the past. I'm blurring the lines, and we're the new media because you're the same kids that are like 11 or 12 or 13 to listen to you because they've never seen you play basketball, or if you did play way back in the day, you're a dinosaur now. But I seen him play like yesterday, or I seen him play a couple years ago, or you'll post a picture with him guarding Kobe. And as soon as you see somebody guarding Kobe, then, oh my God, you made the NBA, so or guarding LeBron. So that's, I think what he's trying to say is that the new media is going to consist of retired or current like NBA or NFL or just professional athletes speaking of their perspective, not any substantial weight like you guys are talking as far as with, you know, being a real journalist. It's just barbershop talk, like shoot the shit, like go on a podcast, like try to make some side money, not actually publish an article.
And that's not true journalism.
No, it's not, and that's why it's not. That's why
Tap in, Ronnie.
I think that's why the
Tap in,
media
Ronnie.
crackers
What you got to say, Ronnie?
I think we're missing the point of what he's trying to say. He said the new journalism. That's a
no.
key
He said
word.
new medium. He said
The
new media.
The new media. I mean, my bad. Excuse me.
Yeah,
the
not
new
new
media.
journalism. Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He's not saying in a traditional sense. And
Exactly.
what he's trying to say is, and this is obvious, the players view the game different from the media. The media, they have an agenda, man. They push a certain agenda, and the players, for some reason, they see it differently. Like, a lot of people are going to not like when I say this, but I don't give a fuck. You talk to the media is the one that pushes LeBron James to be the GOAT. These are the facts.
God.
Hold on. Let me
Shut up about LeBron.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Can I talk?
That's twice today. Come on, let's go.
I'll let everybody talk. I'll let everybody talk, and I didn't say shit. Let me finish my. You might not like it, but it's true. The media pushes LeBron James being the GOAT. If you go down the long list of retired NBA players, none, like it's probably like 2 out of 100. I can name drop, and you can go look up interviews. None of these guys say that. None of them say that. That's the media. So I think I'm just using that as an example. Draymond Green, you talked about the players being biased because they're on a certain team. The media is biased. The media is hella biased. The media pick and choose. Like, for instance, the MVP. I've always thought it was a watered down award. That's a media award.
Because Kobe didn't win enough.
Hold on. The media, it's not about Kobe. It's not about Kobe. This is about the media. They've always picked the MVP award. I never understood why the media picked the MVP. The coaches and the players should decide who the most valuable player is. The media picked their favorite guy, the most likable guy. And I think that's what Draymond is getting at. The Draymond is getting at the old media. They never play basketball. They have very strong opinions about the game of basketball. And
who are we talking about?
Experience. So I think Draymond and the players are more like, even KD said Skip and he had a quote the other day that said Skip and them messed up the game. They messed up the game because these guys have very strong biased opinions and they have their favorites as well. They have their favorites. Look at Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp, if you let him tell it, LeBron's the only basketball player ever. So what I'm saying is, the point is, Draymond Green, the new media needs to be people that know about the game of basketball, that played the game of basketball, that's not biased, that's not picking their favorite players. We actually played against these guys. We actually play with these guys. We know more than you guys that's sitting over in the sidelines that are 5'10", that ain't never dribbled a basketball in their fucking life.
But Ronnie,
this person is better than that person. That's what Draymond Green is trying to say.
Facts.
Do you agree with that?
I 100% agree.
What I'm saying is, I believe the media.
Can we have a conversation?
Yeah, the media should have.
Ronnie out with his examples of the media playing their role, where the players are like, "Oh no." I always go back to it because it's the truth. When the media is the one that blackballed D Rose and said D Rose can't ball no more. But when you talk
Aren't
to
you a Chicago Bulls fan?
The players, let me finish. The players have always been like, oh man, he still got game. He still should be in the NBA.
I think we should be able to do our job.
What are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about?
I don't know.
Media,
we should be able to do our jobs. Of course, this is a job. This is a job for everybody that does it. Yes, but I think I understand what Draymond is saying, because a lot of media, man, they definitely be like, Nick Wright, come on, man. Why is he on TV?
But Ronnie,
why is Nick Wright? Why is
Ronnie? Ken, I got it. I got you, Ken.
About half the time.
Ken, I got you.
Go ahead,
Ken. Listen.
All right, go ahead.
Let me help mediate this, right? Let me play Molly one time, right? So what the whole dilemma is that media and journalism are not the same.
Exactly.
We're having a conversation about two totally different lanes. Real journalism is not media. So a journalist is reporting something that they see for future reference. None of the interviews Draymond, myself, or anybody else that is just streaming it for media, no one's going to go back and watch it unless they say something controversial. Unless it's something controversial that brings more attention to a different subject. Like Yah said, he said, "Oh well, the media blackballed D Rose. The media blackballed Carmelo. The media will blackball whoever they decide, because it's who's deciding to put more focus into whatever they're giving us attention on, or whatever they want our attention at." But what Caleb and Ronnie are trying to say is like, real journalism will never die off, and that regardless what Draymond says, he's never going to be that unless he decides to go back and take courses, or at least learn that lane and come into the game a different way. And here's our perfect example. Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan is a real reporter on mainstream media television. Like, was it Channel 7, Fox 11? I don't know. But he actually does regular news now. He had to change up his whole demeanor, his whole delivery, everything about him. He's not talking sports. So Draymond's like, you know.
Molly Mayor Alvin. I don't know if they can pop it up again, but I thought the question was, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the question was on Draymond Green talking about new media. Okay, there it is. New media.
I don't even know who brought up journalism. Journalism has nothing to do with it.
We weren't talking about. Why are we bringing
Yes,
up
it is. Because I'm talking in reference. Hold on, let me bring it up. Let me. So the whole reference to why he even said the new media, because he was referencing Kevin Durant's comments about Skip and Shannon ruining media and being bad for the game, and that content like his is going to replace Skip and Shannon, and that there are the new media. And that was the conversation that he was having on his show, is that Skip and Shannon, I agree with Kevin Durant. Skip and Shannon and the journalists is fucking up the game. And that's why shows like mine is going to replace y'all when we the new media. Like, yeah, like we taking y'all spot. Y'all niggas is done for. We the new shit.
Right.
It was braggadocious. And that was why I was like, do you really, like, you're really, like, you need to humble yourself. You're really puffing your chest out because you started a podcast where you have a singular camera If you're gonna do it and you gonna talk that shit, then at least do it like I Am Athlete with full production. At least do it. But you sitting in front of a webcam, you don't even have a moderator. You got a one mic that costs $60, but you're a millionaire,
All I need
and
is
you're just sitting in there doing your show in your hotel room anywhere. If you gonna do that stuff, you gonna talk that shit.
Dude,
Come with some real production. Do that shit for real. If you gonna be the real media, you ain't gonna be the new media sitting there with a $60 mic in a hotel room.
all I need is one mic.
facts. Facts. I just think we're missing the base of what he's trying to say. Like, yeah, you're right, Caleb. You're gonna do it right, do it correctly. You know, a lot of these media guys, Shannon Sharp, when was the last time you seen an article from Shannon Sharp? We said journalism is part of media. You know, a lot of these NBA analysts and guys on these shows, they don't write. You know what I'm saying?
Skip Bayless,
But
you
they're
see,
not
but
journalists.
but
But
listen,
Shannon Sharp is not a
no, hold on,
journalist.
no, hold on. Hold on. If you look at every show, it's a journalist uh, with a sports athlete, and the athlete is not there. The athlete is not a reporter. They are color commentary. Shannon Sharp is color commentary.
Let's
He's
talk.
there to say some wild shit. There's no substance to him. He's not required to vet anything. If he comes with some solid information, then good for him. But his
That's
job
a
is to
plus.
provide color commentary. He is there to provide color commentary versus a journalist with real information. Same thing with
Fact.
that is the format. And if you look at even non-debate shows like a Jalen and a Jacoby, Jalen's not writing, but Jacoby is.
No,
Come on,
exactly.
bro. You gotta. They're
I would
paired
say
with a
no,
journalist for a reason to make sure that real information is always vetted and given to the people, no matter how much color commentary is given. And this is why Max Kellerman got took off first take because you're supposed to be an actual journalist and you're over here giving color commentary. And this is
Well,
why he got kicked off first
but
take.
I think
aren't we both?
Max. I don't think that's why he got kicked off the first take. Max, he's always giving. Max is probably. I don't agree with everything Max say, but he's pretty solid with his. He's not just on there saying wild shit. Like
As far
it's
as
more.
basketball's concerned,
As far as everything, Max is solid like all around. Like I said, I don't
And
agree with everything
boxing,
Max,
and
but,
boxing, but everything else,
but
Max is out of
even with
line. He's
basketball,
Yeah,
close.
Max
but
is
look,
saying
exactly,
knowledge of
hey,
exactly.
but let's not
about
forget.
Boxing,
basketball.
okay, but everything
But
else,
Caleb,
Max.
Skip
but
and
but
Shannon,
don't
those
forget.
guys are more color. Both of them are more color commentary.
Are they?
But
Shannon loves LeBron. Skip hates LeBron.
Wait, what you say?
Skip
wait,
hates
hey,
Steph Curry. Those guys
guys,
are
Wait,
just
huh?
biased. They just
Uh,
out there saying
all
wild
right, yeah,
shit.
all right, man. We're gonna be on this all night, man. But let's get to
Caleb, one.
let's get hold on. Let's get
All
to
right, go
this
ahead.
news, man. We gotta get to this news out of the NFL because the NFL has officially have their first transgender cheerleader. Carolina Panthers have hired their first openly transgender cheerleader. And this is just opening the door for, normacy and equality. So how do y'all feel about this opportunity? Like for me personally, the only problem that I had was that they allowed transgenders to, to go against, regular women. And I think that they definitely have a physical advantage over them. But that was the only gripe I personally had with like integrating transgenders into, these sports and these different, opportunities. So what are your thoughts on this move from the Carolina Panthers?
I'm going quick right now. I have a question. Is
Yeah.
there is there a gay male professional cheerleader in the NFL?
Yeah,
I
probably.
believe I whenever I search, I never find like a definitive name or anything like that. And if there is, I apologize for not giving respect where it's due. If
I,
that's
I
the
don't
case,
see I don't
I
see
just I
male cheerleaders in the
but see, this is
NFL.
my problem. But look, this is my problem. If you're looking at real cheerleading, quote unquote, there's stunts and there's other type of things that you would do that incorporates both male and female. So
Mm,
I find it to be rather questionable, right? That we're talking about
True.
the first transgender female or transgender male into female being a cheerleader in the NFL, but yet you won't accept a homosexual male in the NFL. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then if the picture that is displayed is a picture of the person, it's a very, very, very questionable a decision by the Carolina Panthers of all teams being back down south, where it's like I find that to be another questionable. Like, it's just questionable. Like, why wasn't a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader? Because they don't really do that, or that would be too frowned upon. Like, why North Carolina Panthers? Why did they bite the bullet? Because we all know when those owners sit down at the table, they're aware of the different moves that are going to be made by their fellow owners. So I just find this to be very strategic. And we probably have to look a little bit deeper to see why exactly they allowed that over a male, a homosexual male. No air quotes necessary, but I'm just saying that whole community is kind of questionable with this move if they praise it the wrong way.
I mean, maybe it opens the door, and maybe they, as in, I have the same thought process as the mayor, where if you go into cheerleading competitions and everything like that, and seeing cheerleading as a solid sport, that would, some people will say, you have male cheerleaders. Now, does that mean all male cheerleaders are homosexual? Maybe not. You know, you probably will have some up like, hey, this is the closest I can get to a girl. You know, so you never know. So I'm under the impression that there are male cheerleaders out there. I have seen it. You know, they hold them up. You seen it on Bring It On too. You know, you see now maybe they skipped that step and was like, hey, let's not go A to B, let's go A to Z or A to C. Or maybe this is A to B. You know, maybe it is A to B that will open up the doors for other male cheerleaders that are not transgender to go out like, hey, how can I get into the NFL? So there's not really much you can say about it. I would say on the last note, you know, it's good for the NFL. You know, they're showing their diversity, but also the question mark, like the mayor said, my question mark goes, you'll bring a transgender in, which is nice and everything, but you couldn't give Kaepernick his job back.
Damn. Crickets. Nah, because that opens up a whole other dialogue.
Yeah, for real. So let's wrap this up. What's your thoughts on this? Ronnie, Ken, y'all got any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna chime in real quick. You know, I agree with some of what the fellas were saying about, you know, the equality. So personally, I think it's probably something that they have to do. There's no athletic advantage right there. You know what I mean? Like you don't have a transgender male or female trying to wrestle with their regular rep. I think that where's the athletic advantage, I don't agree with. But in cheerleading, but I think if they have to do that, like you know, they have to let in everyone else that's trying to get in. I don't think straight males belong in cheerleading, not because I don't think they should. It's because it'll be mixing it up too much. You know, it'll be too much trouble, too much, you know, scandals, sleeping with each other. Just like there can't be women in the NBA. Like they have their own league. So I think, you know, you can't let straight males, but I think, you know, homosexual males should be able to. Transgenders, yes. I think if they're gonna let in transgenders, they gotta let in everybody and allow everybody the opportunity. I personally don't have a problem with it myself, but I just think it should be equal for everybody that wants to get in outside of straight males, because I think it'll just be too much craziness going on. Imagine a straight male being around 14 fine ass cheerleaders every day. Like, come on, like that's just a setup for disaster. So, you know, I think it should definitely be equal to everybody else that's trying to get in as well.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have an opinion on it. I mean, we just live in a society to where everything is progressive, and I mean, it is what it is.
Hmm. All right, so let's get to this sad news, man. The rapper Trouble passed away, man. He was killed in a domestic dispute out in Atlanta, man. So I guess he was over a female's house. Her ex-boyfriend basically busted in and basically put his hands on the female. And when Trouble basically intervened, he shot him, I believe, in the chest or the stomach, and ultimately killed him. So RIP to Trouble, man. So these two men have never met each other. It was just a random, occasion. And it's unfortunate, man. So what's y'all thoughts on this story, and how do y'all feel about this?
I mean, I think we have to kind of like go ahead and know the facts of everything. You know, a guy busts in his ex house, busts in his ex house to obviously, you know, the door wasn't couldn't have been closed, whatever it was between the two, and of course he's there as a man. What man is gonna sit there and watch a female get beat up or whatever, especially if he's dealing with her? So bust in. I think more details need to come out about what actually transpired. When someone usually has access to an ex house, maybe it was the situation with the ex wasn't done. Um, but it's before I just say some wild shit on, oh man, like here we go again, killing, like, domestic disputes. When you messing with females, man, and messing with men, it's trouble, man. People do crazy things over girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands and wives, exes. That shit is tricky, and that could have happened to anybody, man. Like me, I've been single for years, and I've been around, and anytime I could have been at some female house, somebody could have busted in and did something. I wasn't just gonna sit there and just, especially if I care, I'm not gonna let her just get beat up. So it could have been me. I could have been smoked. So it's unfortunate, but that's these things can happen to anybody when it comes to the opposite sex, man. Like people, they get possessive. People, they don't want to let go or whatever the case was. We don't know if they had kids together. I just think more details need to come out, but it's unfortunate and sad. But we just got to be careful. We got to be careful as men. If we out there doing our thing and we ain't got no wife and we ain't got nobody at home, you just got to be careful, man. You got to be careful what you get into, for real.
And I would say even if you ain't single and you going around talking to XYZ because your home life ain't right, like Ronnie said, I looked up trying to get more details on it. There's not really anything. They just said it happened around 3 a.m. Home invasion, and he got shot in the chest. And some reports say he died right there on the scene. Other reports saying he died at the hospital. But it's you gotta watch your moves, whether you single or not. You better watch who you're talking to, because you never know if they still dealing with somebody, if they not dealing with that person no more, if they are crazy. I heard the dude that shot him had a couple felonies and whatnot. The case may be he had a warrant for his arrest already, so you don't know the drama that talking to anybody, single or not. You don't know what you putting yourself into. So at the end of the day, be careful.
I don't want to I don't want to be any way, shape, or form disrespectful because he's a rapper and we all know who he is. But if he wasn't a rapper, it wouldn't have been nationally televised, or we wouldn't even be talking about it. And like you all just said, that this is this domestic dispute that happens across America almost every other day in somebody's household, right? And I think what's even more unfortunate is that there's no report on what happened with the woman involved in all of this. I mean, if that was her
There is a
ex and he,
report
oh, there is.
reportedly that she sustained minor injuries.
So then that means it might not have been as much as we thought it was. Maybe she was playing both of them. You know what I'm saying? He had a key, came in. What is this? I can't believe you. You know what I mean? Just all of that. I just instantly when I read it, instantly I read it, I said 2 for 1. Like, trouble's gone. Dude who killed him's gonna go to jail possibly. So now what? You know what I mean? Like it like you said, Ronnie, you didn't want to say like, oh, here we go again. It's so unfortunate that we never get to hear so much positivity about like damn near anything when it comes to relationships anymore. It's always cheating, death, side babies, all that other stuff. And now we have a rapper getting killed. Like, and then what type of, like, no disrespect to her, but what type of lady was she? What type of lifestyle was she living? That she was, that her residence was so accessible from somebody. And then at the exact same time, she's messing with a, you know, maybe he's not as popular as he once was, but you would think that he wouldn't be in that type of harm's way where, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're at the lady's house that you're either dating or you guys have some type of relationship with, and that happens. Like, that's just a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, man, it was an unfortunate situation. I feel like there was a lack of communication somewhere along the lines of the dealings, and unfortunately, a life was lost, and a person was hurt, and another person is going to go to jail for a very, very long time. It's unfortunate.
And this is how, as black men, I mean, the 50 Cent, you know, got that song, When It Rains, It Pours. And, you know what I'm saying? He said it usually goes down over money and horse. Unfortunately, when it rains, it pours. And that shit is real.
Facts.
So, RIP to Trouble. I mean,
RIP.
RIP, yeah.
Damn.
I know, another rapper gone, man. It's crazy. All right, so let's get to these politics, man. Your boy, as y'all call him, Smoking Joe. Nobody is believing his smoke no more. So Biden comes out with a State of the Union address and he calls on Congress to pass assault weapon bans and other restrictions. But the media took his thing and basically talked about how he's unhappy with his cabinet, but he hasn't fired anybody yet. But you know, he doesn't want to be like Trump because Trump fired everybody anytime he had a problem with somebody in his cabinet, he just fired them. But Biden is not doing that. You know, Congress is not, the Senate is not, he has no power. Like, no one is moving for the president, you know. So he's been deemed by the media, they're really calling him a powerless president as he doesn't really have support and his numbers are as low as they ever been. So what are y'all thoughts on President Joe Biden trying to make a splash by calling for gun reform?
All right, Smoking Joe. Hey, if anybody watches boxing, Joe, the real Smoking Joe, he had power, right? You know, he was known for just knocking people out. So this is the opposite. He's powerless. You know, what's a boxer with no power? You know, don't got no speed. Everybody knows Joe Biden. This is why we calling him Smoking Joe. He don't got no power. He got no speed. He's slow to get things pushed, you know, for our people. But he said he was for our people. But it goes back to what I said a while back on this podcast. When are we going to give Smoking Joe the same energy that we gave Trump? We don't give him the same energy. Some of us don't give him the same. I ain't gonna say everybody. Some of us don't give him the same energy. When it was Trump, everybody was down his neck. Trump did this. Trump did this. It was Trump's fault this happened. This happened because of Trump. But when it comes to Joe, ain't nothing Nobody saying nothing. Oh man, it's okay. I do have a question because like I'm still getting new to this politician stuff. When it comes to Clinton was red or blue? Let's just go. Clinton was red.
Democrat. Blue.
Blue.
Joe is red or blue?
Blue.
Okay,
Blue.
all right, okay, we good so far. I'm sorry to do this, but Obama was what? Red or blue?
Blue.
Okay. So far, a lot of blue presidents. We having a lot of mass shootings with blue presidents. I mean, I heard it was like this report could be wrong. I know Obama by itself had like 24 or something like that in his whole terms, but that's 2 terms. So okay. And then I heard like Clinton had like 8 by itself, and Joe, he's stacking his up as well. And what he wants to do is go, hey, assault weapons. You cannot be 18 anymore to buy an assault weapon. You got to be 21 to buy an assault weapon. What the hell is that going to do, Joe? That's not going to do anything. Changing the age to get an assault weapon? They already got access to the assault weapon, Joe. They're taking it from their parents, Joe. That's all I'm saying. Let's put some more energy on Joe like we do Trump.
I want to piggyback on that one because I thought it was ironic too that the Democratic presidents had the most mass shootings, and then there was next to none while you had like Trump in office or
4.
any of the 4. Wow, the numbers, right? We had 4 in the last 2 weeks, but I think I think everyone's quiet about the moves that Smoking Joe Biden is making because most people sincerely voted for him. I know I didn't. I know I put my name at the bottom and I checked myself, but I believe that most people voted for him, hoping and praying that things would go different because of his connection with Obama. And I think that also has to do with a lot of people just being young, dumb, and naive, or old and senile, however you want to look at it. And so now they're sitting back going, I can't say, what do I do? I'm the one that picked this dude. You know what I mean? Because the more you speak of it, the more you look like the fool, because you could have either bit the bullet and took 4 more years of Trump, where as much as everyone complained, they're actually reneging their hatred for someone because of how much someone lied to them just to get a vote. You know what I mean? So we knew this was coming. Nobody is shocked. That's why none of the things that he's saying are holding any weight. The mass shootings are only going to continue because I don't know, the people who are doing it are being told to do it, and they're being punished more lightly than anyone else that could have possibly done anything of that magnitude. For real, I'm sorry. This is what it is.
I just want to chime in on that real fast. The shooting that happened in Texas, it was like a off duty, like it wasn't even a cop that killed the assailant. It was a whole different off duty like officer. He was like a special agent for something, but he ran in the school and aided the police, and he's the actual one that took the kill shot. So if it was left to the police, that shooter probably would have left in handcuffs too.
Right. They're targeting the children like as if it's population control.
As if.
right.
Focus on the future.
I think we're kind of getting into kind of like taking away from the actual point. I don't think it has nothing to do with it has something to do with it, but I think we have the wrong angle. We're saying that the most shootings are occurring under the blue Democratic presidents, and I think that's for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've already seen what happened when Trump lost, what those white folks did to the White House. They went into the White House angry as hell, causing havoc. actually got in there, and I think one person died, but they're angry. So when those type of people don't get their way, they do
It was
shit
the
like this
Capitol,
on
wasn't it?
purpose. They do this shit
Capitol.
on purpose because they're angry. They said, we're doing this because we're angry that a Democrat is a president again. That's what's going on here. They're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's because, and I'm not a Joe Biden fan. I don't consider myself a Democrat or a Republican. But they're trying to make it seem like people are just doing this because Joe don't know what he's doing, or Obama didn't know what he's doing, or Bill didn't know that. No, that's not it. These white people that are doing this shit and I know this last one wasn't white, but the rest of them were, but they're doing this shit because they're angry. And they didn't get their way on the president, so that's why they're doing this. I don't think they're trying to make it seem like it's because Joe don't know what he's doing in that aspect. And I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden as a president. I think he's 190 years old, and I don't think no one that old should be doing anything chilling. So, but at the same time, let's not make it seem like there'll be no shootings going on if Donald Trump was a president. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's just not realistic.
That was not my angle at all.
No, I'm not saying you. Yeah, I'm not saying.
I want to come on record and be like,
I've heard people, not you.
My whole angle was really on smoking Joe. You need to do your job, and changing 18 to 21. That's not going to get the shit done.
It's not going to get it done. And one more thing on that, like as far as they trying to this whole weapon control thing, and this might not be the popular thing to say, but something does need to be done about this. Obviously, they talking about taking away weapons or having gun control. I don't know all the details of the gun control thing, but I think if they're gonna take guns away from people, I don't think nobody needs to have guns at all. If they're gonna take guns, including law enforcement.
Wait, what'd you say?
Including law enforcement.
What was that last part?
I said if they're gonna take guns,
law enforcement,
nobody needs to have guns at all. Nobody, including law enforcement. So if there's no gun, but I think that's impossible to take guns because people don't just buy guns out the store. People get guns on the street. People get guns from all other sources. So there is no gun control. There's no way to control this shit unless they literally coming in homes and taking guns from everybody. Like, there's no way to control this shit. It's out of control, and there's nothing they can do.
You know what? I don't even think it's that deep. I mean, what Joe Biden is doing, just like other politicians, what they do best. What's their main course? They pander. So it's really not even that deep, in my opinion. It's just pandering.
I agree with that 100.
He's gonna go wherever. He's gonna go wherever the wind takes him.
He does not. He's not doing this because he really wants gun control. He's doing this because his approval rating is in the trash, and he's a year and a half. He's basically a year away from getting into campaign mode because a campaign is about 2 years, and you're already 2 years into your first term. So basically, you're getting ready to campaign again, and your approval rating is in the trash. So you're gonna go whatever way and say whatever thing that you got to do, and put your politician tie on and suit and tie on, and go out there and do whatever you got to do to try to get your approval rating back up before you start this campaign. And speaking of this campaign, everybody's seeing this nigga approval rating in the trash, and they feel like it's wide open for the coming. Of course, the Democrats already got their nominee. It's the president-elect we have, Joe Biden. But the Republican Party is wide open. It really split into two factions because you still always got the Trump supporters. That's going to be like he really split the Republican Party. But now, Trump's VP, Mike Pence, he's speaking that he might throw his name in the hat and that he might actually run for 2024. And he said that even if Trump runs in 2024 again, that he still might throw in his name in the hat and go against Trump for the Republican nomination. How do y'all feel about Mike Pence? And how do y'all feel about if you had to vote? It's either going to probably looking at you're going to either have to vote for Biden again or Trump or Mike Pence. How do you feel about voting for the presidency in the next 2024? Are you excited for this?
We're done. Are you serious? That's it. That's my answer. We're done. And if I can say that in any language ever invented, for more translation, we're done. We're cooked. We're fried. We're sauteed. We're baked. 3-point at the buzzer. End zone
For
touchdown
real.
in the Super Bowl.
For real.
We're
For real,
done.
man.
Super cat Dundada.
That sums it up. Ken pretty much sums it up, man. I mean, shit. Like they say go with the lesser evil. Who is the fucking lesser evil in here? Like, Ken say nothing but a Trump. He's like, you know, they always say all these NBA coaches are Greg Popovich in a different form. You got Steve Kerr, you got Ime Udoka. All these guys are under Greg Popovich come from Trump. So he's another damn Trump. Like, there is no right answer right here. Like, whoever you pick is gonna be fucked up, man. I've never been big on you know, thinking that the president of the United States has the power to do all this stuff. I've never believed that they have the power to do shit. I think they're just the face. I think they're just the person for America to blame. I never believed that the president had any power like that. But, you know, if we're going to go ahead and believe the president do have power, like Ken said, we're fucked.
With a sandpaper condom.
Dude, you guys do realize this might have been the craziest chess move. Like, if you go backwards and look like 12 years of the presidency, if this was not if, since it's obvious, but like, it's wild. Like, Biden was Obama's vice, and here he is, and he's failing so tremendously within the first 2 years that you don't want to go with him, but who else do you have to choose from? And then you don't want to go back into Trump because I don't want to ever go backwards in history. But then do I take his spawn? Do I take what he created, who might end up having more negativity than even what he has, because he said back not having control. They said, yes, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. But if it was me, I'd do it different. Now it's my chance. Like, man, I don't even know how to laugh, to be honest with you. I just process like, man, this next year is gonna be a lot. Like, this 2022, like the rest of this year, this last like 5 months and some change, we gotta get big and buff.
Kanye for president.
Bro, ain't
Who?
that true? Now I can laugh. Hey, that might be our only choice. Our only choice.
Let's go, baby. Kanye for president.
Or y'all just get it. Y'all might run for president. You better run for president.
I was about to open up to y'all and ask y'all, any of y'all running for president? Y'all don't, obviously we don't need no experience to really run for president anymore. So anybody running for president, I'll vote for y'all.
I'll do it.
They don't want me to do it. I'm gonna be like Bill Clinton. I'm gonna be like Bill Clinton.
Hey,
hey, did y'all know that Dick Gregory actually won the presidency? Do your research on Dick Gregory for president.
Wow.
Dick Gregory, man. I love that.
Man. Green Party,
for real.
Very intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He talk that shit. But yeah, man, I agree with everybody here, man. It's grim. It is very. It is grim. We might need that, man. Kanye West for president, man.
Kanye for president, dog.
I can't believe this. Like,
if I ever ran for president and I won, you know what I would do, man? And I hope you guys are all sitting down right now, because this is really gonna hit home.
This is his campaign.
Equal. I just make everything equal, and I'll just keep saying that in my campaign.
So communism,
like that.
Communism and socialism. So you're a communist?
Everything equal. Everything equal.
That's communism. That's socialism.
Everything equal. Everything equal.
Ken for president.
I win. I'm gonna win.
Ain't that what Bernie Sanders said?
Ken for president.
He was a big time socialist. That was a thing on Bernie Sanders too.
Where's Ron Paul at?
Didn't the well, like I said, I'm going back on my statement again, letting it be known. I don't know much about the aspect. I'm learning as we go. So, wasn't it like the 4 years ago? Didn't they have like a whole bunch of people run, and then once they got closer to the end, they were like, all right, let's choose
Okay.
this.
Okay, so let me explain this. Okay, so you only get one representative from each political party.
Yeah.
Now, because Biden is already the president elect, there is no Democratic nomination. He automatically gets the nomination. So now it's only a run for who gets the Republican nomination.
So there's
And
only
now there's Trump and Pence that are heading that right there. So it looks like we're going to get Trump or Pence against Biden.
Fucked.
There's no other. There's no like. What about the greenhouse or anything
come
else?
on, Greenhouse.
Independent has never won.
Mm-mm.
Even
So
Bernie
let's.
New media.
Sanders, Bernie
Independent.
Sanders and Elizabeth
New media.
Warren. That when you're speaking of everybody going against each other, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, which are the biggest independents, they ran as Democrats, and that's why they were part of the Democratic debates and all that stuff. They actually ran as Democrats for the Democratic nomination because they're not going to win as an independent.
And then generate no numbers.
None. And then just gave their nomination to Biden and then handed their people over to
Exactly.
Biden. So that's why Democrats did that, so that they can get everybody's votes and then automatically transferring them over to Biden once they lose or bow out and endorse Biden. Oh, now my candidate endorsed Biden, so now
So they
by default they get my vote.
the Republicans can't take that same format because it's only two.
Because Trump fucked that whole thing up.
Oh,
Trump came in with some whole nother shit, and they can't fuck with Trump, man. Trump is just too popular, man. We want it. He got money. He got his own shit. He got his own people. He came in with his own people.
Yeah, he was already rich. He was already rich.
He fired, and that's why he was firing people in the White House left and right. You said something to him, fired. Get out of here. Get your ass out. He hired Omarosa for 3 days and fired her ass. She was trying to sue.
Okay.
I was dying laughing. But shit, man, we gonna wrap this up, man. Let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
All right, y'all. Well, I'll start it off. Shout out to everybody out in the AV. Shout out to the basketball program, AV Elite. Shout out to the Lakers 17 championships. Always 17.
17
Also,
record though.
whatever, I don't care. Shout out to all five of you guys, or all five of us. I'm sorry, not five of you guys. You other four gentlemen, much love and respect as always for what we do. And let's continue to put a little bit more focus on the children since they're the future. All these shootings are a little bit more signs and more of an eye-opening experience for us all that we need to enjoy each and every day and not complain.
Man, I'll go. Man, shout out to everybody once again. Another great episode. Intellectual dialogue. That's always a plus, especially with like minds from, men who I respect. Kalen, keep the dope shows coming. Shout out to Ronnie, Yaji Keddy, and Alvin. And yeah.
Yes. Shout out to the crew. Of course, you know what I'm saying? We like family pretty much now. We've been doing this for a minute, man, and been through everything and still here strong. So I want to shout out the gentlemen that come in here each and every week and continue to, give us their time and give us their, perspectives on these various topics. I want to give a shout out to our extended team. We got Britt. Shout out to you, Tez. Shout out to you. Shout out to Power Lipstick. We're in our word radio. Camila, Jen tapped in. Shout out to everybody that's been working with us out there on the red carpet. You know what I mean? If I missed anybody, my bad. I'm not sure. Oh, DBK. There we go. DBK. Shout out to Critic Cali. Shout out to everybody who's been down with politicking from day one that watched us go from San Bernardino to home to the pandemic to Riverside Studios and online. Shout out to everybody who's been a part of the road. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to the Politikan. I see y'all doing y'all thing. I know this was about new age media. And you guys have the journalists, you guys have the reporters, You guys have it all. So if Draymond wants to talk about new age media, he needs to get on this show right here because y'all doing it all and still keeping up with how the world is shifting on doing it on each and every platform. So I see you guys. Shout out to Focus on the Future. Keep doing your thing, boy. You know it. You should be running for mayor so then you can run for president. So then when my daughter's 9 years old, we ain't having no Pence or Biden again. And me having to pray to my Jesus. But keep doing y'all thing. Keep doing your thing. Caleb, keep doing your thing. We strong and we are the future, but we are the present as well. So keep being the hope that we should be. Brand of encouragement. I don't know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First, I want to shout out y'all gentlemen, man. Love y'all niggas, man. I really fuck with y'all niggas. I watch y'all niggas. Y'all are my inspiration. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get on when I jump online. I say this all the time, but I mean that shit really. Like, I just seen y'all. You rising, huh? Going crazy, huh? I see, man. Every time, every week, the progression just won't stop, man. Like, when you find a group of people that's determined, and really got a eye and a talent for what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different feeling, man. Like, and I'm truly inspired by all y'all gentlemen. As far as me, I really been kind of, I don't know. I used to be like a real cold nigga, and then I really had like a really giving spirit, But as of late, I've been just really feeling like, drained, like overwhelmed, like, just like overlooked, like, what I'm saying? But now, I'm really just hitting that next stride, busting through that proverbial glass ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm realizing that there is a whole nother level that I can go into. Like, it's like once I didn't learn how to go Super Saiyan. But now, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna go Super Saiyan 2. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother level that I could reach. And you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm striving for, man. So, like I used to say on my podcast when I first started it, man, if they put you in a cage with a lion, just because you don't try to eat the lion, don't mean the lion ain't gonna try to eat you, man. Politikan the Podcast. We out of here.